What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. We continue with our 2023 schedule preview and projected record series. The Syracuse Orange are up next, a team that was a bit of a surprise team last year. They were ranked at one point. Didn't finish the year all that great, but still had a pretty solid season last year. If you look back, they went 7-6, were able to finish with a winning record. And like I said, this team they were in the top 25 at one point last season. It was a good year for them. You look at how they started. They were actually 6-0. They were 6-0 to start the season last year. Had a win over NC State, and then it kind of went downhill from there. They didn't win. They only won one game in their final 7 games. So it was a great start, but then not a great finish. And really, a big part of that was because of the schedule. They played Clemson, Notre Dame, Pitt, Florida State, Wake Forest, Boston College, and Minnesota. Those are their last 7 games. So you can see how that schedule really was tough in the back half. So you look ahead to 2023, are we going to get the same thing? Well, not so much. Not so much. The toughest part might be right there in the middle. Let's just go game by game. They'll start off with Colgate on September the 2nd, then Western Michigan on the 9th. They'll play on the road at Purdue on the 16th. That'll be a revenge game for Purdue. That was a great game. I don't know if you or maybe remember that one. It was kind of an under-the-radar game. That was a really good game last year. So they'll play Purdue on the road. They play Army on September 23rd. Always tough to have to deal with that triple option, and especially when you have Clemson the next week. So they'll play Clemson after Army, and this is a tough stretch. Like I said, they go on the road to face North Carolina on October the 7th, then on the road at Florida State. They do get a bye week between Florida State and Virginia Tech, but they play Virginia Tech on a Thursday night. So what did Syracuse do to make the ACC schedule makers so angry? Last year, again, loaded up that back half of the schedule. This year, not only do you have Clemson, North Carolina, and Florida State back-to-back, you also have 3 road games in a row. And I've been doing, I think we've got about 10 to 15 teams left on these schedule previews. And this is the first time I've seen a team with 3 road games in a row. North Carolina, Florida State, and Virginia Tech. And yeah, it helps that they get a bye week between Florida State and Virginia Tech, but they have to play Virginia Tech on a Thursday night. Always tough to play those road games on a Thursday or Friday night. So that is a tough stretch there. But it's not as bad at the end of the season like it was last year. They get Boston College. That'll be on a Friday night game at home. Then Pitt, that game will be at Yankee Stadium on the 11th. They'll play Georgia Tech on the road on the 18th and close things out with Wake Forest on November 25th. So how good will this Syracuse team be? I think they'll be a similar team to last year, but the schedule, it could catch up to them. They're in the middle, and will there be anything left? Will they have their confidence after going through that tough stretch in the middle? Florida State had a schedule kind of similar to that, where they had 3 tough games in a row in the middle of the season, and they were able to bounce back. We'll see if Syracuse can do that. We're going to look at the projection here. This is the scale that we use. If it's a 50-50 game, it'll be in the white. Less than 20 over 80, those are games where I think the spread will be 20 or more points. 20 to 29, 71 to 80, those are games where I think the spread will be double digits. 30 to 39, 61 to 70, those are games where I think the spread will be about a touchdown, 6, 7, 8 points in that range. So we'll start with Colgate and Western Michigan. Should be easy wins, especially Colgate. Western Michigan wasn't very good last year out of the MAC. I know a few years ago they had that little run, but that should be an easy win for Syracuse. So you got 2 pretty easy wins there out of the gate. They'll play Army. I talked about that triple option, having to defend that. Still, though, Syracuse is a much better team. I don't think they're a 20-plus point favorite in this game, but probably a 2-touchdown favorite. About a 14-point favorite would be my guess. So we're going to put that one there in the blue against Army. So as far as the projection goes, all 3 of those games will be counted as wins. How about games where they'll be favored by about a touchdown? I think Virginia Tech, Boston College, Georgia Tech. The Virginia Tech one, like I said, that's going to be tough on the road, tough place to play Thursday night, but they do get a bye week, and Syracuse should be the better team there. They'll play Boston College on the 3rd. Like I said, that's a Friday night game, so back-to-back weeknight games, and then Georgia Tech. Syracuse should be a better team than them as well. So those are 3 games that you can't count on as guaranteed wins, but you can say that Syracuse will definitely be the favorite. How about guaranteed losses? I think really there's just one, and it's not a guarantee, but they're going to be double-digit underdogs against Florida State. The game is on the road. Florida State's going to be a top 10 team this year, it seems. And so, yeah, Syracuse is going to be a big underdog in that one. And then you've got Clemson and North Carolina. Clemson is a team that Syracuse has played tough. They get them at home this year, so that's why I'm putting this game in the yellow. I think they'll be about an 8-point underdog in this one, but not a huge number. They should have a shot at least in that one. Again, playing at home. That's the difference in Clemson and Florida State. So, why is Florida State in the orange, Clemson in the yellow? Well, Florida State's on the road, Clemson's at home. North Carolina is also on the road. North Carolina's probably going to be favored by 6 or 7. So those are two games where Syracuse, they'll have a chance, but they will be the clear underdog. And then that leaves Purdue, Pittsburgh, and Wake Forest. These are your 50-50 games that can go either way. If you win these games, you're probably going to have a good season. But that stretch in the middle of Clemson, North Carolina, and Florida State, that is a very, very tough 3-game stretch. So to get the projection here, we average everything out. We count the blue and the green games as wins. Florida State's counted as a loss. Use 35% for the yellow, 65% for the purple, and 50% for the games in the white. And you get 7-5. So that's the projection for Syracuse. Very similar record to last season. Actually, the same regular season record that they had last year. And like I said, I think this team will be about the same. The schedule is once again going to be tough. Or they're going to have a tough stretch. Overall, the schedule is not bad. But that stretch in the middle and, even throw in Virginia Tech on the road on a Thursday night, that middle of the season is going to be pretty tough. But the first part and the last part, really not that tough. And so they're going to have an opportunity, if they lose to Clemson, North Carolina, and Florida State, the odds would say they're probably going to lose 1 or 2 more games. But 8-4, 9-3, I think is possible, and that would be a really good year for them. But if Virginia Tech improves, that's going to be a tough game there. Purdue on the road, don't know for sure about that one. You could see them being a little bit worse than 7-5. So I think this is a pretty fair projection. 7-5 is our projected record for Syracuse in 2023.